In the small town of Ravenswood, nestled between rolling hills and thick woods, a chilling urban legend had taken root. Whispers of eerie encounters and spine-chilling stories circulated among the tight-knit community, sending shivers down the spines of even the most skeptical residents. The legend spoke of the black-eyed children, mysterious apparitions with completely black eyes, who appeared when darkness blanketed the town. The legend had its roots in a handful of reported encounters, each one more unsettling than the last. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the quiet streets, the townsfolk would lock their doors and windows, recalling tales passed down from one generation to the next. The first documented encounter occurred on a cold winter night. Sarah Thompson, a middle-aged woman known for her rationality, was returning home from a late-night shift at the local diner. The air was crisp, and a thick fog obscured the moon, leaving the town in an otherworldly silence. As Sarah fumbled for her keys, she heard a soft voice calling out from the darkness. "Ma'am, could you please help us? We're lost, and it's so cold out here." Startled, Sarah turned toward the source of the voice. Two children, a boy and a girl, stood on her porch. Their pale skin almost seemed to glow in the dim light, and their clothing looked outdated, as if from another era. But what sent a shiver down Sarah's spine were their eyes, pitch-black orbs that seemed to absorb all light. Instinctively, Sarah hesitated. A wave of unease washed over her, but the children's pleas seemed genuine. They spoke in unison, their voices soft and haunting. "Please, may we come in? We need to call our parents." Sarah's heart pounded in her chest as she weighed the decision. Something about those black eyes unsettled her deeply, yet she couldn't bring herself to turn them away into the cold night. She reluctantly nodded, and as the children crossed the threshold, a sudden chill filled the air. As they entered her home, the atmosphere changed. The temperature dropped, and the lights flickered. Sarah's apprehension intensified, but she led them to the living room. As the children sat on the couch, they fixated on Sarah with those black eyes. They began to ask strange questions, probing into her thoughts and memories, leaving her increasingly uneasy. In that eerie encounter, Sarah felt an overwhelming sense of dread, a gut feeling that something was terribly wrong. It was then that a neighbor, drawn by the flickering lights, knocked on the door. The moment was broken, and as Sarah opened the door, she turned back to find the children gone, vanished into the night. Word of Sarah's encounter spread through Ravenswood like wildfire. Some dismissed it as a vivid dream or an overactive imagination, but others began to share their own stories. The town was gripped by a collective fear, and the legend of the black-eyed children took root. Over the following weeks, more encounters were reported. Each one echoed a similar pattern. A late-night encounter with seemingly lost children, the unnerving request for entry, and the paralyzing fear induced by those abyssal eyes. The legend transcended the town, spreading across the internet like a digital ghost story, captivating the minds of those who stumbled upon it. One man, Mark Henderson, a local journalist with a penchant for investigating the paranormal, decided to delve into the mystery. Mark was known for his skepticism, but the growing number of accounts intrigued him. Armed with a recorder and a determination to uncover the truth, he set out to unravel the secrets behind the black-eyed children. As Mark delved into his investigation, he interviewed witnesses and combed through historical records, searching for any connection between the reported encounters. The more he dug, the more he realized that these stories were not confined to Ravenswood. Similar tales had surfaced in different parts of the world, spanning decades. One common thread emerged from the stories: the overwhelming sense of fear that accompanied the black-eyed children. Witnesses spoke of an inexplicable terror that seized them, a fear that transcended the boundaries of the rational mind. Mark couldn't ignore the mounting evidence, and his skepticism waned as he continued his quest for answers. One evening, as Mark sat in his dimly lit office, sifting through witness accounts and old newspaper clippings, he received a mysterious email. The subject line simply read, "The truth behind the black-eyed children." Intrigued, Mark opened the email to find a message from an anonymous sender, claiming to have information that could unravel the mystery. The sender, who identified themselves only as the Watcher, revealed a chilling narrative that connected the black-eyed children to an ancient, otherworldly force. According to the Watcher, these entities existed on the fringes of our reality, slipping through the cracks between worlds to test the boundaries of human fear. Mark was initially skeptical of the email, dismissing it as an elaborate hoax. However, the Watcher provided details about the encounters that were not publicly known, leaving Mark with an unsettling sense that there might be more to the legend than mere superstition. Driven by a newfound sense of urgency, Mark continued his investigation, now with a focus on the supernatural aspects of the black-eyed children. He delved into folklore and occult texts, seeking clues that could shed light on the true nature of these mysterious entities. As Mark unearthed ancient legends and obscure references, a pattern began to emerge. The black-eyed children, he discovered, had been mentioned in various cultures throughout history, often associated with omens and harbingers of misfortune. Black-eyed children manifested within the confines of the ritual, their dark presence clawing at the edges of reality. Mark fought against the fear that threatened to overwhelm him, focusing on the words of the incantation and the ancient symbols etched into the protective circle. In a climactic moment, the ritual reached its zenith, and the black-eyed children recoiled, their form dissipating like smoke in the wind. Mark, drained and trembling, felt the weight lift from his shoulders. The oppressive darkness that had haunted him for so long retreated, leaving behind a sense of fragile peace. As Mark emerged from the occultist study, he realized the price of unraveling the mysteries of the black-eyed children. The town of Ravenswood, though now free from the immediate threat, remained scarred by the collective fear that had gripped its residents. The legend persisted, woven into the fabric of the town's history, a cautionary tale passed down from generation to generation. Mark became a reluctant guardian of the truth. He continued to investigate the paranormal, seeking to understand the thin veil that separates the known from the unknown. The black-eyed children, though banished from his immediate reality, lingered as a haunting reminder that some mysteries were better left untouched. And so, the legend of the black-eyed children endured, a dark undercurrent in the tapestry of Ravenswood's existence. The townsfolk, forever wary of the night and the shadows it concealed, held their breath, knowing that the line between reality and the supernatural was a delicate thread that could be easily unraveled by the unseen terrors that lurked just beyond the edge of perception.